Hi, this is your October 2019 horoscope, and we're going to be doing things a little differently today, so we're experimenting with different things. So we're going to do the old-fashioned way with an old-fashioned webcam and some whiteboard and a marker. So bear with me, we're trying to figure out how to do this best. The technology really makes me nuts. So, on with the show. Okay. Now, this is the October 2019 horoscope. This is what we have going on. This will cover all signs from Aries to Pisces, starting with Aries. The most important thing is as we start the month on October 3rd, Pluto will be making its station. Now, when Pluto makes its station, the house that it makes the station in will have tremendous shock waves or reverberations, right? Pluto, for Aries, Pluto will be stationing in your 10th house. This means that your public image, your reputation in the community, your social standing, your job, your career, so everything from marital status to professional status is under major stress right now. So critical mass, things are coming to critical mass. Now, for those of you who also carry planets within a few degrees of 20 in the cardinal signs, Aries, Cancer, Capricorn, Libra, you're definitely feeling this. So some major decisions may have to be made at this time. Be aware, this will repeat itself and come to final dramatic conclusion around the 13th, or major critical mass. Taurus, or Taurus rising. This Pluto station at the beginning of the month will be occurring in your 9th house, and what we can expect is more of that deep existential angst you guys have been feeling for a while now. Ever since Uranus went into your sign, it's not been familiar. It's been a very different territory you've ended up in. So with Pluto occurring in your 9th house, we can expect some serious renewals and revisiting of things that have to do with long-range plans and the future as you're moving toward it. This also means that some of you, not all of you, some of you may be having more than expected premonitions or precognitions about things to come. So don't be surprised if your spidey sense is really off the chain these days, and specifically when it comes from much more distant sources. And typically this comes through things that are much more focused, like sleeping or meditating, things of that nature. When we get to the 13th, that full moon will kick this off from your 12th house, and this is really going to blow open any type of visionary things that are coming to you or have been trying to reach the surface of your consciousness. So pay attention to your dreams. Okay, Gemini. For Gemini, this Pluto station will be occurring in your 8th house of shared resources and money and support from other people. So one of the things that you may expect at the beginning of this month is literally money that is due to you, money that comes to you, or money that's usually generously flowing toward you from other people, coming to a complete freaking standstill. Literally, like hitting a wall at 60 miles an hour. I want to give you good news. The good news is that it can't last forever. The bad news is we've got until the 13th to get through this. So wherever the logjam is in your finances when it comes to other people's support and currying other people's favor, this is the time to do some emergency management. There is something going on here, and this is a foreshadowing of things to come if you don't get on the ball. So wherever the problem is presenting itself here, you got some emergency management you need to get into, because come the 13th, all of this is going to blow wide open, and it will not be pleasant, especially if you haven't taken care of business before then. Cancer. This Pluto station will be occurring in your 7th house of partnerships. So for some of you, not all of you, some of you may be going through literally the ringer right now with loved ones or with significant relationships, professional or personal. Be aware that other people who seem to act and or be in positions of having a lot of control and power over you and your ability to move really do have that. So when you're not in a position of power, we have to remember that we are in a weak position and adjust our behaviors and approaches accordingly. Come the 13th, all of this is going to come to a head, and we can see a release or a liberation from the situation one way or another. So whether we walk or they go, this is going to come to an end. Be aware that this will not be easy, simple, or pleasant. So make sure you have enough resources to take care of yourself. And you have enough social supports around you so that you can get help and assistance from other people when you need it to get through whatever this situation presents itself as we get to the middle of the month. Leo, this Pluto station will be occurring in your 6th house. In your 6th house, and this goes for the rising signs as well, so Leo or Leo rising. This month and this station literally brings to the surface, puts on the table squarely in front of you issues that have to do with health, hygiene, and habits. So this month will absolutely require you to examine your health, hygiene, and habits and make major revisions or changes somewhere to something so that your life can flow. Because otherwise, one of the things that you're going to find is that the major blockages that are occurring at this time literally kind of put you, bring you to a standstill as far as moving forward in life. This is no time to keep ignoring little things you could have taken care of before. This is a housekeeping issue with this Pluto station. As we get down to the 13th, any adjustments that you have or haven't made at the beginning of the month as a result of this Pluto station will be front and center. You won't have a choice but to deal with it. So be aware that housekeeping, health, hygiene, habits, and housekeeping, all of these things are coming under this Pluto station. So expect major overhauls being forced on you to clean up your act or to get things taken care of that have been long ignored. It doesn't have to be bad, but it will not be simple and an easy fix. Like, you're going to have to roll your sleeves up and get in there and make the commitment. Okay, Virgo. This Pluto station is going to be occurring in your 5th house of love and children. Now, for those of you who have children, this means that your children, for whatever reasons, will be very, very active and very important in your life at this time. So, here. So, what this means is that we can expect a lot more involvement with our children in a much more serious, significant way. Very, very deep. Be very careful about the power and be mindful of the power that you have over your children. So make sure that any efforts that you make to try and steer your children in the right way also includes a lot of love and respect and trust that they are capable of making the right decisions. Your confidence in them is more important than your good advice, especially this month. As we get closer to the 13th, one of the things that we can expect is whatever this issue is with children as it comes up to really present itself and be clear as day what we are actually dealing with here. For those of you who are dating and mating, not officially deeply committed to somebody, this is going to be not the best month for Virgos. Best of times, worst of times situation. So, while the people who do present themselves to you as potential romantic partners are going to be very intense and very seductive and very irresistible, these are not necessarily the best candidates. For the first half of the month, until we get to this full moon, we've got all these planets in Libra, okay, squaring that Pluto. So this is going to put all of this not necessarily on your side, because all those Libra planets are also coming out of your 2nd and 3rd house. So relationships, new relationships that are not serious ones at this time could cost you a lot more than just money, and certainly a lot more money than you were expecting. So be aware. Libra, this Pluto station will be occurring in your 4th house of home, family, roots, and, solid, secure, literally the ground under your feet. This Pluto station in that 4th house, the 4th house is a bit of a mysterious house because it covers a lot of stuff and a lot of internal work. So with Pluto making that station in the 4th house, many of you will be coming to terms with origin stories. Literally, who do we come from, and where are our roots, and what have we inherited from our past, both genetically and otherwise. So for many of you, this month is a time of coming to terms with your histories and your families and your legacies and the things that you've inherited along the way and the things that you want to keep with you and the things you want to let go of so that you can move forward. This could come as a result of having to deal with families or funerals, or it could do with psychological deaths. But either way, this is a very, very heavy, serious month that's going to require that you jettison a lot of long-standing parts of your life after you've taken serious inventory of what they actually mean to you and how they have brought you where you are. I know, so heavy, right? The good news is that once we get past the 13th with that full moon, like, we can sweep it all off the table and move on. But between here and there, you're being called, the call to action is for you to look at it. Look at it. Okay. For those of you looking for love, this is still a fantastic time. Very, very lucky. You're going to have the ability to draw in the people that you want, more than usual. And you're usually good about pulling them in, but you'll be really good this month. Use your power wisely, Luke Skywalker, because the repercussions for using that manipulatively or exploitively are huge. And that may be the very thing that tips the scale and forces you back on your heels and rocks your world and really makes you take a hard, honest look at yourself. Okay. Scorpio. So the beginning of the month is kind of a quiet month for you. The Pluto station is going to be occurring for you in your 3rd house. Now, for you, this means that you're going to feel more of a need than usual to get really, really quiet, like a rattlesnake in the grass, just kind of waiting, right? So you haven't shaken those little warning rattlers yet. But it's not so sinister. For Scorpios, this first part of the month is very much about getting quiet and listening and getting in tune with that ineffable something. So you can feel things are changing and you can sense that there's something else out there that other people aren't picking up on. And more than anybody else, you are attuned and in tune to those potential things way off in the distance. So the first half of the month is very much about you trying to tune in to that secret squirrel signal way out there in the distance that other people aren't catching yet. Come the 13th, when we get to this full moon, of course, this will be different because by then you'll be able to the great reveal what it is that's come to you or through you under this Pluto station. But it will, between here and there, there's a lot of restless nights and a lot of lost sleep because of insomnia, because the information is trying to get through. So, Scorpio, my friend, you are not going crazy. For those of you who are a little bit more fragile and a little bit more or less optimally networked up there, you're not crazy, but any crazy you have may be more visible than usual for the first half of the month. Right? Here's my coffee mug. So, as for those of you who are looking for love, it's not any better or worse than usual. Although I will say I don't see a lot of energy being put into looking for, let me see, hang on one second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I don't see a lot of energy being put into looking for the great love of your life, and relationships are kind of on autopilot at this point. The whole month, and as we move into the next month, is very much going to be focused on finances, specifically your finances and your assets and your resources, and how you can better fortify yourself, on your own without having to need other people, which is a constant theme with you, but maybe more so now than before. Sagittarius, this Pluto station will be occurring in your 2nd house. So money is the issue this month in a big freaking way. Oh my God. Also, the cost of relationships and romance. So the bill may be coming due at the end of this courtship that you may have been having with somebody else. So whether you've been the person paying or the person receiving, there's going to be a tab that's going to be closed and payment's going to be called for, on those debts. So this station is very much about examining our resources and how we're budgeting and playing with our resources. Because Sagittarius, as a rule, you guys are always very generous anyway, but this is not the time. So you're really going to be doing some belt tightening, and a whole lot of people are going to be caught off guard because of this. Also, at the same time, come the 13th, you're going to be more acutely aware of the calls to creativity and romance than ever before. So you may be looking at new and creative ways to make your money, which could be a very, very good thing. So apply your energies in a way that's productive and non-harmful to everyone, including yourself. For those of you who are looking for love, the The first half of the month is easier than the second half, so if you're going to be out there mixing and mingling, the first half of the month is your best time to get out there and do it while the planets are in Libra. As we get closer to the last third of the month, those last couple of weeks of the month, it's not so great. So if you're looking for love, the best time to do it is the first third of the month. The second third is okay, and the last third of the month is not great at all. So there's your time windows for getting out there and doing your thing. Capricorn, you are taking this Pluto station in your first house. So you guys, oh my gosh, Capricorn and Capricorn rising, you guys have been batted about like a ping pong ball for months now between Saturn and Pluto. This has not been easy, not easy at all. The ones who suffered the most, I think, because of the Saturn, Pluto in Capricorn, definitely the Capricorns going through the changes, but certainly the other cardinal signs, Aries and Cancer and Libra. But you, my Capricorn friends, luckily Saturn is your ruler, so it's really been a maturing period, or like literally like wine and whiskey. You've really kind of been coming in your own. But Pluto there has not been easy, and Pluto is like the assassin in the night, like that you wake up to, sitting on your chest. Pluto stationing right now at the beginning of the month has really driven home a lot of important things about you, your identity, and your life that must be faced. These are all internal things because it is Pluto, but you are aware of them, and that's what matters. The full moon on the 13th will trigger this, okay? So anything that this Pluto has been doing for you as it's been traveling your first house, it's going to come home with a bell ringing around the 13th. So do be aware, be kind to yourself, and make the effort to put the time in to do the work, because you will not escape it. Pluto will not let you go so easy. The thing about Pluto to remember is that when Pluto takes hostages, the thing that it takes hostage is not your life, it's your peace of mind. So in order for you to have your peace of mind back, you're going to have to pay the ransom price. And the ransom price is doing the work that's required of you. And you know what it is, even if nobody else can see it. So get with it, folks. Get with it. Oh, right. And for those of you Capricorns who are out there looking for love, let's see, 12, 11, 10, 9... it's 6 of one, half dozen of the other. So social outlets, things with groups and large social outings and networking and friends who introduce you to friends, these are all really good things for you up to the end of the month. So try to get it in before then. When we get down to the end of the month, there's a whole lot of weird, hinky, shady stuff going on. So you're not only not going to be feeling it as much, but you're going to be tired. But also, there's a lot going on that's just not going to be helpful to you. So we would advise you to get your McLovin in. Go find your McLovin before we get to the end of the month, just to be on the safe side. Aquarius, this Pluto station will be occurring in your 12th house. And this, like Scorpio, and also like Taurus, promises to be a very important time in terms of tapping into some universal unconscious theme that other people aren't picking up. You as well are feeling it. There's something going on out there. You can't quite put your finger on it. Also, you may be feeling deep internal changes within yourself that require you to change the way you're approaching your belief systems, and how you get through the darkest of times in your life. This is a very important time. Mental hygiene and mental health is critically important this month, and you'll be feeling it and being aware of why around the first week of October, right? So whether it's just a bout of insomnia that goes on for days, or really feeling overly stressed and overly sensitive to the slightest things, you'll have some forewarning of where the mental health and mental hygiene issues are that you really need to and want to address. On the 13th, when we get closer to that full moon, whatever this is that you're seeing around the beginning of the month is going to be explosive, huge at that time. So the more we can get a handle on it and get ahead of it now, the easier it's going to be for you to navigate this full moon. So that's some incentive right there. For those of you Aquarians who are looking for love, let me see. Yeah. So for those of you Aquarians who are looking for love, this is not this is not a supercharged romantic month, so it's mostly business as usual, a lot of focus on work and getting stuff done, all that good stuff. Friendship is the order of the day. So for Aquarians, I suppose friendship is more important when it comes to love than physical desire anyway. So meetings of the minds are definitely an Aquarian thing. So you'll have lots of opportunity for that after we get past the 13th. So between the 13th and the 29th, that new moon on the 28th, there's ample opportunity to really get into some fantastic friendships with people that could become much more serious later. But for those of you who are looking for, I don't know, the sweep you off your feet kind of romantic thing, this may not be the month for it. And anything that you do pull in this month is going to be short-lived. So try not to go out and buy a wedding dress or an engagement ring just yet. Just hang on to that for a second. Okay, and Pisces. The Pluto station will be occurring in your 11th house. So, my little Pisces. So a couple of things with Pisces. So you guys have been carrying this Neptune in your sign for a while, and it will be there for a while. It's making you, your sensitivity is literally paper thin. And for some of you, it's really driven the escapist behavior to all new heights. So some of you are really feeling the need and desire to escape and avoid everything that has to do with the ugly realities of the world. So for those of you who have managed not to disappear down to the bottom of a bottle, pill bottle or alcohol bottle, congrats to you, and we've got some good news for you. So Pluto stationing in your 11th house means that this, at the beginning of this month, it heralds or signals, right, the beginning of a brand new social circuit. So many of you will be making serious and significant changes in the way you socialize and who you socialize with. So you may be expanding or contracting your social circles based on more life agenda needs. So you're looking towards the future and you're looking to surround yourself with people who support your visions of where you're needing to go. Good for you, Pisces, because you tend to pick up all the strays anyway. It's good that you finally kind of narrow this down to people who are going to be useful to you for a change. Now, issues of who you are associated with will come up very clearly around the 13th. So don't be surprised, because this full moon is coming out of your second house of finances. Don't be surprised if there may be some cost that comes from associating with the wrong people, or some financial benefit that comes from associating with the right people. Either way, the people that you spend your time with, that you associate with, are going to have a very direct impact on windfalls or sudden costs and losses around this full moon. And that may be the catalyst that gets you moving in the direction that says, you know what, enough is enough, time to get serious about this birds of a feather thing. I'm just saying. All right. Now, for those of you Pisceans who are looking for love, again, actually for you guys, let me see, hold on, 7. So it's going to be an interesting month. So I don't know that the great love of your life is necessarily going to appear this month. However, you've got a heavy emphasis that's occurring all month long between the 7th and the 8th house. So one of the things that I would look for, or not your 7th, I'm so sorry, in your 8th and 9th house. Sorry, 8th and 9th. So again, things that I'm seeing has a lot to do with other people's support of you or you supporting other people, and also long-range, long-term impacts of these things. Not necessarily legal stuff, but certainly things that are moving you towards the future and putting yourself in positions to be surrounded by people who are heading in the same direction. So if you're looking for love, you with Neptune in your first house for the next forever, and all of this heavy Capricorn emphasis occurring in your 11th house, you've got a much better chance of finding that once-in-a-lifetime random Prince Charming or Princess Charming, whatever, in groups of people and friendships than you are at any other time. So this is a great time to go make new friends if you haven't found who you're looking for inside the group of friends that you have. Otherwise, this month's going to be a very, very good month for cultivating relationships with people that will support you, even if it doesn't lead to long-term relationships, like of the marriage kind. So don't have no fear. You will not be alone. But certainly it's about prioritizing what we need and how we're going to get, where we're trying to go and how we're going to get there. So this has been your October 2019 horoscope. I hope you enjoyed this. Some finishing notes for you guys. Just want you to remember that we do have a Mercury station occurring here at the end of the month. Mercury will enter Scorpio at the beginning of the month, right about the time of this Pluto station. So for Aries, Mercury will be entering Scorpio and your 8th house around the beginning of the month at the time of this Pluto station. When Mercury enters your 8th house, again, issues of money and shared resources and finance, high finance as opposed to pocket change, what you carry around with you, like credit cards and loans, will come up for review. Come the end of the month, you're going to come right back to this conversation, and there's going to be some mess to clean up. So be aware and stay on top of your finances now. Taurus, the Mercury will enter Scorpio at the beginning of the month in your 7th house of relationships and partnerships. This means that other people are going to have the advantage, and also other people and relationships, and the terms of those relationships are going to come up for review. So you're going to have to address that. Come the end of the month, when we get down here with the new moon and that Mercury station retrograde, people are still going to have it all over you. And the thing to remember is that there's a more propensity for your peers, your partnerships, your one-on-one relationships, your face-to-face friends and enemies to be more underhanded than usual. So be aware and plan accordingly. Gemini, you are ruled by Mercury. Mercury enters Scorpio in your 6th house on the 4th, right about the time Pluto makes its station, and it will turn retrograde with a new moon at the end of the month. Mercury at the beginning of the month entering your 6th house. Again, this is about health, habits, hygiene, and housekeeping. So you may be finding or not finding things, and this is a cause for you to really kind of get in and take a look at how you're doing your daily routines and how to clean that up. Now, that station retrograde and that new moon at the end of the month is not great because Gemini is the sign of two people. Your evil twin may be tempted to be more active than usual at the end of the month. Please try to resist that urge. It will come back to bite you in the worst possible way. So understand that your proclivities to be mischievous and, push the envelope, all that sort of stuff, is going to come up strong at the end of the month. Resist the temptation. Please resist the temptation. Cancer, Mercury will be going retrograde in Scorpio in your 5th house. Right. And Mercury will station retrograde with a new moon at the end of the month, also in your 5th. This means that this month, again, children are very, very important, and love relationships and creativity. This is a very, very focused month that has everything to do with where you're putting your energy and how you're expressing your authentic self. So do your thing, go with it, and understand that the things that have to do with the heart are very, very important this month for you. So pay attention to whether your love lights are on or off. Leo, Mercury will be Mercury will be entering Scorpio in your 4th house and making that station retrograde with a new moon also in your 4th. Family, home and hearth, ancestors, and relatives are a very big deal this month. So pay attention to what comes up that needs repairs and attention, and give it to it. Closer to the end of the month, we want to minimize the possibility of any major damage, especially when it has to do with plumbing or deep structural flaws, as possible. Things like this may come up around the new moon or shortly after when Mercury goes retrograde. We want to make sure that we are ahead of that. If you do your own home repairs, make sure you know what you're doing and don't be afraid to ask for help and get other people in to help fix that up when it comes to your house, because it is likely that the breakdown that we're looking at in your 4th house at the end of the month will be mechanical ones. Virgo, Mercury will be entering Scorpio Sorry. Mercury will be entering Scorpio and then stationing retrograde with the new moon at the end of the month here in your third house. This is a very busy month. You'll be doing a lot of stuff, getting out and about, taking care of business, meeting and greeting, being the mayor of town sort of thing all month long. So wheeling, dealing, communicating, and getting paperwork in order for the long-term goals are there. Don't be surprised if once we get closer to the end of the month with this Mercury station retrograde and that new moon, that something falls through the cracks. So make sure you got all your paperwork together and everything accounted for before then, because this will not necessarily be you dropping the ball. This may very well be other people dropping the ball, especially if there's money involved, like loans or finance. Libra, Mercury will enter Scorpio and station retrograde with a new moon here at the end of the month, beginning of the month, end of the month, in your second house of finances. So you don't need me to tell you that money is the order of the day, and you may find yourself really re-examining where the money's going, because it's definitely not coming back where you thought it should be. So be aware of that as we get closer to the end of the month. You may find that there's a hemorrhage in your pocket you didn't know about, or unexpected expenses coming up after this new moon. So be aware and make sure you've got some money set aside for yourself. Scorpio, Mercury enters your sign at the beginning of the month, stays there all month long, will station retrograde with a new moon also in your sign here at the first in the first house of Scorpio. You guys are charismatic powerhouses all month long. So whatever you can imagine, dream, or desire, you can pull to yourself like a magnet pulling steel filings. Use your power wisely. As we get close to the end of the month, there may be some temptation to see just exactly what you can do and how much you can get away with. And like our Gemini friend, I would recommend we resist temptation to push the envelope quite that far. Sagittarius, Mercury will be entering Scorpio in your 12th house and stationing retrograde with a new moon at the end of the month, also in your 12th house. This is a very quiet month for you, so you may find that you're not being heard as much as you would like to be or normally are. Don't be surprised if people seem to be taking you for granted or not hearing you over the noise and voices of other people. This is a very important time for you to check in with yourself and get quiet and maybe get tap in and tune in and turned on to the greater spiritual forces or psychic or psychological forces in your life. Because if you're not being heard out there, then this may be a really good time for you to start listening to what somebody's trying to tell you on the inside. Capricorn, Mercury will be entering Scorpio and then stationing retrograde with a new moon in Scorpio here in your 11th house. At the beginning of the month, we can expect a more critical examination of the people we spend our time with. And for whatever reason, other people and information they are or are not giving us, little piece of information may come up as very important around the beginning of the month. We'll be much more aware of what people have to offer in terms of information, because we know now more than ever that information is power. At the end of the month, Mercury will be stationing retrograde with a new moon in that 11th house. When it does that, again, we will be re-examining who we are spending our time with and probably making plans, not actively doing anything, but certainly making plans about making a list and who to cut from it, and certainly who to add to it. Aquarius, Mercury will be entering Scorpio and then stationing retrograde with a new moon in Scorpio in your 10th house this month. So public recognition, jobs, status, getting respect and your due for what you do accomplish is very much at the top of the list this month. So career wrangling is definitely going to be the focus of things that are going on. Towards the end of the month, be prepared to possibly be passed over or slighted or maybe even taken advantage of professionally or with a job kind of situation. It will not last. These things never do. But this could also be a very, very good time and an important time for you to do some sleuthing of your own. So if you have been passed over or you feel like you've been slighted, this is a really good time to get into that and see if that is actually the case. And if that is the case, how on earth that happened. So this is a great time for research, not a great time for pushing forward when we get down to the end of that month when it comes to our careers. Pisces, or Pisces rising, Mercury will be entering Scorpio and then stationing retrograde in Scorpio with the new moon in your ninth house. No. Yes. Ninth. Yes, in your ninth house. So the ninth house is the God house, so we can expect a couple of things. The first thing is Mercury entering Scorpio in your ninth house. The eyes towards the future. You're really, really looking at what you're doing moving forward for the long term. With Mercury stationing retrograde at the end of the month and the new moon for Scorpio also in that ninth house at the end of the month, one of the things that I would definitely look for is a serious accounting for yourself about what you're doing and where you're putting your faith and your energy, and maybe even adopting a whole new spiritual practice for yourself to kind of get you through. So it's not going to be a big phenomenal month in terms of breathtaking mental changes, but it's going to be a very important one in terms of helping you get on the right track. And that, my friends, is the October 2019 horoscope. I hope this is good for you. And we will try this again next month. And also to remember, all of these sign positions are good for your sun sign, your rising sign, if you know it. If you don't know it, it's okay. And in Vedic astrology, the moon holds a lot of weight as well. So you can also read this in as your moon sign and see if that works for you also. So we've got a very focused month. It's very intense, it's very focused, and it's very important. It's very important. So be kind to yourselves and definitely be kind to other people, because they may be, even if they don't deserve it, right? Let me get this down. Even if they don't deserve it necessarily, there are people in this world who have been wrong and are just now realizing how wrong they've been. Sorry. And listen, between you and me, if you've ever been wrong about something, it's not a great feeling, right? It's bad enough you're embarrassed, but now you've been holding fast to something that's, completely wrong, and now you really feel bad. So one of the most important things is that when people are wrong, this is also a great opportunity to help them over to a correct way of thinking and to move past this so they stop being so defensive and we can all get on the same team and move forward. Oop.